And we are back with episode 26 of Straight Out the Lou. Today is Tuesday, March 23rd. Last night, the second round of March Madness concluded. We will recap the first two rounds of March Madness today and look forward to the Sweet 16, which has 4 Pac-12 teams in it. And we will give you our predictions going forward in the tournament. Last night, the Celtics dropped an overtime heartbreaker against the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll talk about the Celtics moving forward here. The Frozen Four NCAA Tournament is coming up. BC looking to claim their top spot. And we will fill out our brackets for the Frozen Four Tournament today. All right, guys. A crazy tournament. Most official upsets out of any tournament ever. Through the first day of the second round, that record was achieved. What have you guys seen so far?
The apologies first.
We'll start with the apologies.
Start with the apologies.
You have the floor.
So all year,
I've been waiting for this for a while.
I have overrated the Big Ten. I don't know if it's because the teams aren't as good or if they're beating up on each other or something. But the bottom line is they've not performed in this tournament aside from the University of Michigan, which I'll talk about in a little bit.
Isn't Michigan University?
No. So I would like to apologize to our viewers for doing that. I would also like to apologize to our viewers for underrating the Pac-12 all basketball season. Pac-12 has done very well in this tournament. They have 4 Sweet 16 teams. And Colorado did have a nice win in the first round. Played well last night. But
best defense ever in a tournament game, holding their opponent to 0 points.
And that was Oregon. It was a great defense. That was a defensive clinic.
Oh, Oregon.
Yeah, they won 1-0. But yes, I'd like to apologize for that as well. So 2 things that I was dead wrong on this basketball season, and I am apologizing to our viewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut to the chase here. I don't think my apology deserves a little bit of credit because I did not see this team advancing past the first round. The University of Wisconsin, based in Madison, they happened to win a tournament game, and I've been saying how trash they are all year. They still are trash, in my opinion, but apology needs to go out for them for picking North Carolina over them. That was an embarrassing performance by North Carolina. And Brad Davidson had an elite game. But they got exactly what they deserved in the second round of Baylor. So I don't feel too bad, but I did need to apologize there. And I'm so excited that I finally heard how overrated the Big Ten is. It's a good day.
I'm not ruling out that it was just because they beat up on each other. But they didn't perform in the tournament, which is all that matters.
And we'll just throw out there right now that I have a heavy lead in our bracket challenge.
Yes, you do indeed.
Actually, you're in second. Yeah, so.
In our bracket challenge.
I would personally like to apologize as well for predicting incorrectly with 3 of my Final Four teams. 2 of them exiting in the first round.
Daz has not been getting dubs this
Daz has not been getting dubs, although my bracket claims to get dubs. Not been the case. Illinois as well, 3rd team to fall out of my Final Four. That was a second round exit.
Yeah, how about Illinois? Let's roll back the clip from last episode where I correctly called Ayo Dosunmu. Is that his name?
Ayo Dosunmu.
Overrated. As I've called him last episode.
Spell it out.
Flashback.
Guy can score the basketball. Showed against Illinois and their overrated point guard, Dosunmu. Overrated.
Give me a break.
Overrated. Overrated.
There you go.
Overrated.
End of flashback.
Overrated. Yes. Overrated. That's right. Correct.
I don't think he's overrated. I think.
He scored like 6 points and dribbled the ball off his foot.
I think Illinois didn't play well as a whole. I thought Loyola had a great game plan. Porter Moser is one of the best coaches in the country. I assume he'll get a big job here pretty soon.
He's got a big job right now.
Yeah.
Final 14.
What about Texas Tech, guys? What about that Texas Tech finish? 2 brick layups. Was that team overhyped, or was it just a choke?
The team was overhyped. They didn't really get a lot of quad 1 wins this year. They were a little bit overhyped. Everybody saw the Chris Beard, excellent coach. You see Mac McClung, he's a good player, but they just haven't been practicing layup lines apparently, and that's just a crucial part of the game, as we found out at the end.
I think they choked, but I wouldn't say they were overhyped because, I mean...
They were six.
They were lower. Arkansas is a better overall team. I just thought that, the way Texas Tech played in the last tournament, they'd be able to have some momentum here, and it looked like they were going to win this game, but a complete gag, as you said.
One thing I want to mention here. So I mentioned earlier, just a few seconds ago, about how there was the most official upsets in this tournament. That was through the first day of the second round. Official upset is when a team beats a team that is seeded at least 5 seeds above them. Been the most of those so far. I think it was 11 after the first day of the second round. But then, on the other side, this is also true for this tournament. In the Sweet 16, the average seed for all the teams is the highest it's ever been in any tournament. 5.8, I think, is the number. So you have the highest average seed in the Sweet 16, but then you also have the most upsets. Official upsets, that is. It's a very, very bizarre tournament. Definitely bubble-esque, right? I would say very bubble-esque. Very, reflective of the Miami Heat making the finals.
2021 Eastern Conference champions.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Very interesting tournament. I think the bubble's playing a big factor into these upsets. But there are 3 1 seeds in the Sweet 16, which is very surprising. Usually don't really see that. So, guys, 3 1 seeds, couple 2 seeds. Who do we like going forward here?
Yeah, I'll start off with predicting the Sweet 16 bracket from here on out. We got Gonzaga going up against Creighton here. This is going to be a blowout. They've been bailed out all tournament. They got very lucky to get past UCSB on the missed layup. Gonzaga's going to win this game. And then I'm going to go with Oregon over USC, and we're going to set up a Gonzaga-Oregon Elite Eight, which Gonzaga will be in the Final Four. Michigan, they'll beat Florida State. And then I like UCLA over Bama. And I like Michigan over UCLA in a real great game. Michigan to the Final Four. Baylor over Villanova. And Arkansas is going to end Oral Roberts. Great run by Oral Roberts. But Arkansas is going to end that run right there, leading to another number 1 seed in the Final Four in Baylor. And then I see Loyola Chicago knocking off Oregon State. 2 Cinderella teams. Loyola Chicago is a really well-coached team. They're going to wear out Oregon State. And then Syracuse, of course, is going to hammer Houston. The team that was bailed out against Rutgers, who I was very happy, very good for my bracket challenge, but bailed out. And Syracuse to the Final Four.
Go Orange.
Where we're going to see Gonzaga and Michigan play. I'm going to take Gonzaga in that one in a close game. Too high powered for Michigan. And then don't be surprised if Syracuse beats Baylor here, but I'm going to roll with Baylor and stick with my original bracket, which had Gonzaga and Baylor in the finals, and staying with Gonzaga. So, there's a lot to look forward to, but the Orange, they're dangerous.
I agree with you on a lot of those things. I do see Oral Roberts beating Arkansas, though. I was not very impressed with Arkansas. Oral Roberts has had some very good wins here, obviously, beating Ohio State and then beating Florida. Florida, a choked team, but still pulling out the win. Let's put a 15 seed in the Elite Eight here. I won't bore you guys and go through every single matchup like Luke, but...
No, that was great for our listeners.
I must say that Loyola Chicago, I've heard this on multiple Twitter accounts, Instagram pages. They're not a Cinderella team. They're just not. This team's good. This is a really good team. They've been ranked in all those unofficial rankings that are supposed to be like legit power rankings, taking all the stats. They've been a top 10 team. This team's going to make a run. I don't see them losing to Syracuse or Houston. They'll be a Final Four team. They're going to be back right there in the Final Four again. UCLA also a team, the dark horse to look out for. If Michigan's not on their game, UCLA is going to beat Bama. And then they're going to face Michigan if Michigan's not on their game. That's a dangerous upset right there as well. Besides that, Sweet 16 I think is going to play out pretty as expected here. Not too many head scratchers.
Yeah, I actually had the exact same picks as Luke up until the national championship. I'll take Baylor over Gonzaga. But I do want to talk a little bit about this.
Can we just stay here? If Gonzaga wins the national championship, we'll have a public apology?
Yeah.
We'll have a public apology? Yeah. That's good, because you've been doubting them all year.
I have been. So I want to talk a little bit about this game last night, this Michigan game that took about 10 years off my life. It was a great game. LSU.
Barn burner.
It was a barn burner. Beginning of the game, LSU couldn't miss. Cam Thomas apparently is the next Michael Jordan, the way he was shooting the ball. And Javonte Smart, I thought, played really well, too. And Eli Brooks should be credited with keeping Michigan in the game for most of the first half.
Disagree. Sean Day Brown.
I thought he was good late in the first half, very good in the second half.
That's your best player.
Sean D. Brown played a great game, and Wagner, who sucked all game. I think you guys can attest this. I was yelling at Wagner for most of the game.
You were.
Because he was horrible.
He was playing soft.
Yeah, but he was great at the end of the game. Made some big shots. Obviously, that big three and the dunk. And I really have appreciated what Brandon Johns has done as well. I've yelled at him my fair share of times this year, but he's played well. So that was a good win for Michigan. A game I didn't think they were going to win, and I think they have a chance to make a run here and capitalize on this opportunity.
Well, they're in the Elite Eight because Florida State sucks. They suck. They played Colorado last night, and they're winning by 4 points in a 24-20 game at halftime. I mean, come on.
Yeah, Florida State's not.
I think Florida State can have. I think they're very inconsistent. I think they can have a night where they just against Virginia.
I'd be really Virginia also sucks though.
They do.
I'd be really surprised if we see Michigan not win that game. That's all I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and then they'll probably get a UCLA matchup. I don't think Bama's going to beat UCLA.
Yeah, Bama's holding on to a thread these past couple games here. They've looked all right. Actually, they blew out Maryland.
They destroyed Maryland last
My
night.
fault. Who was I think? I was thinking of Houston. My fault. Alabama's been pretty dominant so far, but UCLA's hot. They got Johnny Juzang. It's
Very hot team. Very hot team who's had some very big wins as well.
That's right. So I think UCLA personally is going to win that game, but honestly, I just can't see a way that Michigan's not coming out of this bracket.
Yeah, I get it. I get it for sure. It'd be exciting to see a Pac-12 team here in the Final Four, though.
Oh yeah.
Out of all the teams, there's 4 Pac-12 teams left, right? We have this UCLA team down here in
Oregon, USC, and
yeah, exactly.
Oregon
We have
State.
Oregon and USC are matching up though, so one of those teams is going to be out.
yeah, you got a team in the Elite Eight at least.
And then you have Oregon State matching up against Loyola Chicago here, right?
Yeah.
So that's probably a loss. That's most likely a loss.
Pac-12 doesn't have a team ranked in the top 20 all year, and Oregon, one of those teams is going to be in the Elite Eight.
That's true.
Oregon or USC. So.
Very true. But outside of that Oregon USC matchup, do you guys see UCLA realistically winning that game? I know you just said you probably do, Chris.
I think UCLA has the best chance to get to the Final Four of any of the remaining Pac-12 teams, but I think Oregon's the best Pac-12 team remaining.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good assessment.
That's a good take.
I mean, Gonzaga's probably not going to lose to... No, they won't lose to Oregon or USC.
They'll take care of business.
So...
Gonzaga getting bailed out.
Yeah, they are.
Getting bailed out.
Yeah.
It's not deniable. That's coming from me, a big Gonzaga fan. It's just the facts.
Yeah.
If they win the national championship, they win the national championship, though. It's not their fault that these teams are losing, but they're getting a pretty easy schedule so far.
No, you just got to play who you play,
Yeah.
You can't control who your opponent is in the tournament.
And Oregon's just a better team than Iowa, as we found out the other day.
Yeah,
Clearly.
that's not true, but...
Clearly. You win the game, you're the better team. That's just how it goes.
Right.
A great tournament. Been exciting to watch.
That's why the Devils are better than the Bruins.
Fair enough.
It's true.
But we have some other basketball news to talk about. Professional basketball. Last night, without Jason Tatum, an embarrassing loss for the Celtics, who are now in 8th place behind the New York Knicks.
And the Hornets, right? And the Hawks.
When's the last time the Celtics have been behind the Knicks at this point in the season?
Probably 2013, year they played them in the playoffs.
That sucks.
2012.
Was that 2012?
Yeah, because that was Melo.
Yeah, whatever that was. Yeah, tough game last night. I thought they were going to lose with the guys that are out. I don't really care that they lost necessarily. It's just the way they lose games. It's just infuriating. And shockingly, no Tatum, the ball moves exceptionally well. They play great on offense. But there was nothing there defensively.
Is that because Tatum's out?
I think that's part of it. I think Tatum is a ball stopper at times.
That's what happens when you get the Dookies.
Yeah, Brown played well last night. Jeff Teague played really well. We had an overtime. I give Marcus Smart credit. He made a great pass that got us into overtime. But when they got in overtime, there was a minute left, down by 4, and he has Grayson Allen on his back, and he thinks he's going to get fouled, and just launches a three.
That's the
and
worst.
It's brick. So I hope they trade him. But they probably won't because they won't make any moves. I still think they're better than the Knicks and the Hornets. I think they'll get into that top 6 at some point. But they suck. They're not a good team. They need to relocate. As for what's going to happen here at the trade deadline, don't expect any moves if you're a Celtics fan. I know they're interested in Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon's interested in them. I've heard Jeremy Grant, Harrison Barnes, a lot of other people. They will be interested in about 10 different guys that will make an impact, but they will not trade for them because they won't want to give up Marcus Smart. They won't want to give up any picks. That's just how it is, how it always is with Danny Ainge, and I don't expect anything less than that. Also, the Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, I was about to say. They play tonight, right? And he's sitting?
They play tomorrow.
But tomorrow? And
he's been out with COVID protocols
Okay.
or something, and apparently he's not liked in the locker room, so maybe he would be somebody that is moved or cut or released here in the next couple days before the trade deadline. We'll see.
Not surprising. The guy is a Kardashian in some
right.
sense.
That's
That's got to be toxic.
That's right. I just want to bring this up real quick. We're going to play a game called Name That Player.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about
Stats and...
We're going to talk about, name that player through stats during last night's game. We got 29 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists on about 50% shooting.
John Morant.
John Morant. Who's being covered by who?
Jaylen Brown.
Marcus Smart. One of the best defenders in the NBA.
Has all the intangibles.
And Chris
Right,
is now off that bandwagon now. He's actually watched the games now. And he's seen the light that Marcus Smart is one of the most overrated defenders in basketball.
Listen, I think Marcus Smart has been a good defender in the past. I think he's having a really bad year on both ends of the floor.
Well, he was hurt forever.
He was hurt, but before he got hurt, and now he's back, and they were worse when he came back. They were playing well. He came back, now they suck again. He's not defending well. He's a good passer. That's pretty much it. He's a good passer. He can't shoot, and he's not defending well. So what is he doing on the floor for you right now? And somehow he's like a coveted player for these teams. If he's coveted and he sucks with us, why don't we trade him?
Another guess that player game. We got 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's played a couple last week.
What's this?
Who did they play last week? Fox?
Close.
Sexton.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton, who would also be another.
That was Garland. Or was it?
Garland had 25 too.
Yeah.
Those two guards.
That's a bad matchup for the Celtics.
Those two guards, and we see Smart here played 29 minutes that game. Actually played a solid game on the offensive side, but it was a -10. It was a -10.
At some point for me, this has to fall on Brad. It has to fall on Stevens.
You know, this is a thing where I don't bring it on Stevens because you've alluded to the point about Tristan Thompson and his Kardashian background. But this isn't the first guy we've seen come here to the Boston Celtics organization and have a bad time with culture. So
Stevens is instituting this culture in some sense.
I'm going with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. These two guys think they've arrived. They have not. Really good NBA basketball players. You cannot deny that. What is wrong with these guys' attitudes that no NBA players want to play with them?
Yeah.
I would agree. Problem number 1, bad roster. Problem number 2, Tatum. Problem number 3, Brown.
Problem number 4, Kyrie now telling other big free agents to not go to Boston.
Yeah.
Because now you're not going to get anybody.
It's a players' league. I can't blame Stevens. Maybe they're not listening to him, but I'm sorry.
It's
I don't
unbelievable. The guy declines the Indiana job. He has a big press conference. He brings the team together and he tells them how committed he is to the Celtics. And then they go out and lose to the Cavs.
I mean, maybe they're not listening to him, but I'm sorry.
You don't want to fight for your coach there?
Yeah, you can't just be letting the players dictate this because then you are just at the will of the players as an organization. Because I think Brad Stevens is an excellent coach. You see the plays he draws up out of timeouts. They get an open shot every single time. They've been a great defensive team every year. He's been there except for this year. I think it's on the players.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's really good at drawing plays out of timeouts. One problem I've had with him in the past is his player rotations, but this year he doesn't have any players to play, so it's not the problem this year. So
it's been the culture thing. He's not a players guy. He just hasn't them. He's never been able to really keep him in check from what I've seen.
It's just a league problem for me, though. It's not a.
It's not though.
For Brad,
you've seen it work out elsewhere.
It's a league.
You've seen it work out elsewhere.
That's not how it should be, though. I just think that's a problem with the NBA that these
the Celtics
are getting driven out.
The Celtics are unwilling to adapt to the modern NBA, which they shouldn't adapt to the modern NBA because I hate it.
I agree.
Brad Stevens is a fine coach. I don't think Brad Stevens has any of the majority of the blame here. Maybe 10%. He's the head coach of the team.
Adapter guy, man.
Well, no, we've seen it in places like Miami with Eric Spoelstra, where he demands the best out of his team. But you don't think that comes with Jimmy Butler?
He also has Jimmy Butler. Like,
This is what I'm saying.
Top-down culture there.
This is what I'm saying. So how can you not start with Tatum and Brown when you look at culture in the Celtics? And it's not just like...
But he's had these guys since they were rookies. Like, he should be able to mold them into the guys he
They've been
wants.
Successful every year except for this year.
Brown's first year, he wasn't.
I know, but he should...
They were in the conference
If
final.
these guys,
Yeah,
if these two are the culture problem, Stevens should be able, or he should have been able, to mold them into the players he wants them to be in terms of culture.
You know, I think he's tried. I think they're a little too stubborn.
Yeah, I mean, Tatum went to Duke. We know what happens with Duke players. And Jaylen Brown was a 5-star recruit with Cal. I'm sure he could do whatever he wanted.
The smartest player in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm sure he could do whatever he wanted at Cal. I mean, they've been the stars of the team. They've got to do whatever they want their entire life playing basketball. I'm assuming with where they went to college. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
And now they're trying to play in a system, and they've done it well the past 3 or 4 years, and now they think they're big time players. You know, because they're in the All-Star game, they're in the 3-point contest, jumping into ball racks. They haven't arrived. They need to get it together.
The only reason they were in the 3-point contest, too, was due to COVID related.
COVID related.
Jason Tatum bailed out by Butler missing 10 games, COVID related, for the All-Star game. And they just think they've arrived. I agree with Chris. We've seen this now with multiple players in Boston. Gordon Hayward, Kyrie, he's a head case, but Kyrie Irving, Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier.
Yeah.
We've seen these guys all get into fights with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And I think Jaylen Brown's the more outspoken one, whereas Tatum's just the dookie. He's the typical dookie. But Brown and Tatum is where it starts more than Stevens.
Give me more details on this Dookie thing.
Name one Duke player that doesn't have a culture problem. It's in the
You're
NBA.
putting me on the spot.
Mason Plumlee.
Mason, name one superstar out of Duke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You can't. They're all head cases.
Mm.
They call them the Dookies, and it's just
They think they're celebs, that sort of deal.
draft out of Kentucky, not Duke. That's how you do it. But it's the Dukies think they've arrived. They're the superstars. They go to Durham, North Carolina. They just live the superstar lifestyle. I mean, you see Tatum, and you look back at some of his old clips at Duke. They got his song playing, he's dancing on the court. He's the man. So I mean, I don't know. I think the Celtics need to rebuild. I think they need to rebuild and go back to the basics. If Stevens is willing to commit long term, I would think they should start a rebuild.
All right, so who are you giving up then? You giving up?
I'm giving up
you
both.
You have to give up Smart, and then are you giving up?
I'm giving up both of them.
You're giving up Brown and Tatum.
I think Brown buys in.
Tatum
Tatum
over Brown.
Yeah, I don't think Tatum buys in.
Yeah.
You keep Tatum, or you.
I would trade Tatum.
You trade Tatum over. I would agree. You get more for Tatum most likely. I kind of like Brown more as a player and as a guy from what I've seen.
I would trade Tatum because I think Brown can develop into a more so Jimmy Butler type game and can run an offense for the Celtics, whereas Tatum's just, I don't even know.
He buys in just a little bit more than Tatum, just a little bit, but he does buy in a little.
Hopefully he can buy in some more once they start making some deals here. So.
And he actually seems like he cares when he goes to the podium and aside from his no comment.
Jalen no
Yeah,
comment
the
Brown.
no
Yeah,
comments, so.
but Tatum just goes up and mumbles at the podium. Hey, this is great stuff, guy.
Yeah.
He's a dookie. It is what it is.
When's the deadline? Do we know?
Thursday.
Oh, it's coming up here. 2 days away
They should
from the recording date.
They should rebuild. I mean, they should rebuild. It's just
The team is going to rebuild.
You know what's hilarious? The thing that I've always found hilarious, and for you Celtics fans out there, the Brooklyn Nets, who have traded you four pick swaps,
Yep.
4 first-round picks, who you used to take Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and trade for Kyrie Irving. So you've in the realm of the league, you've gotten 3 superstars based on numbers, statistics. You know what I mean? And the Nets have rebuilt before you.
Yeah.
That is a disgrace.
But their rebuild,
but you know what?
rebuild's not traditional. Come on.
Yeah, I mean
that's how you rebuild in the NBA nowadays, and the Nets did it right.
But they're just and that's the problem with the NBA. They're going to Brooklyn or they're going to LA or nobody wants to play for the Knicks, but
yeah,
I think that's a problem in the NBA.
All right, let's get into some hockey here.
Yep.
We got the Frozen Four tournament, a tournament that I have never witnessed myself, but being in the Northeast now, gotta watch some hockey, right? So, we're going to give you guys a little bit of a prediction here as to what's going to happen in this exciting tournament. As we have number 1 seed North Dakota, we have a 2 seed in Boston College, 3 seed in Minnesota, and a 4 seed in Wisconsin. And the rest kind of just fill in with a bunch of schools I've never really heard of. So, Luke, you get us started here.
Yeah, so, we're going to start in the top left quadrant here with North Dakota. They're going to be playing American International. Never heard of them. That's going to be an easy win for the University of North Dakota, led by Jake Sanderson, and I can never pronounce his name right, so I'm not going to try, but he's number 29 on North Dakota. He's a real good player. We got Minnesota Duluth here versus Michigan. This is the matchup of the tournament right here, from my perspective. You got the star-studded power of Matty Beniers and Kent Johnson and Owen Power at Michigan, all the freshmen, going up against Minnesota Duluth, back-to-back champions. They won in 2018 and 2019. A very strong team here. It pains me to say it, but I'm going to ride with Minnesota Duluth here for the sake of the bracket. Minnesota Duluth looking for a three-peat here. North Dakota, Minnesota Duluth. I'm going to take Minnesota Duluth in an upset. Ooh. This is a really good hockey team. They are well coached and they're experienced. This is a real good hockey team. We're going to move down now to the Wisconsin bracket here. Wisconsin's playing Bemidji State. I think they'll take care of business there, even though despite Bemidji State, I've heard of them being a pretty good hockey school. Lake Superior State's got UMass Amherst. We're going to roll with the Minutemen there and UMass Amherst. They got a solid squad, Hockey's tournament champions. And we're going to take UMass Amherst to the semifinals. They're going to beat Wisconsin, the most overrated team in the country. Again, there I said it. They're overrated. Led by Cole Caulfield, who's the most overrated player in the country. The same thing per usual. That's going to be my semifinal on that side. We're going to move to the Minnesota bracket here. They're playing Omaha in the first round. They'll take care of business as after they won their Big Ten tournament. Minnesota State Quinnipiac. That's going to be a big W for Minnesota State, who has played no good teams all year, but they're like the Gonzaga of NCAA hockey. And then we're going to take Minnesota to the Final Four. It's our first number 1 seed to the Frozen Four, my bad. That we'll take there. The Holy War. This will be on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We got Boston College. Your Boston College Eagles, number 2 in the nation, going up against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I see this as a bloodbath. The Eagles are going to probably hang up a 7 spot on them. BC, give me them to the next round. St. Cloud State versus Boston University. We're going to take BU there in a close game. St. Cloud State's a good team, but Boston University, don't want to really bet against them. And then here we go. We get the Battle of Comm Ave here. We got Boston College, we got BU, and it's going to be Boston College again, just like it was earlier this year in January when Drew Hellison, number 1 play on SportsCenter, not a big deal, finished the overtime game winner with 0.1 seconds left in the Battle of Comm Ave. And BC is going to be in the semifinals here. We're going to take BC over Minnesota in a barn burner, 2 old rivals going at it. And then on the left side, Minnesota Duluth and UMass Amherst, we're going to take Duluth. And that's your Frozen Four bracket right there. Go Eagles. Alex Newhook.
Again, will not bore you. I'm just going to give you my champion, and that is, of course, the Boston University.
What's their name? What's their team name?
The Boston University what? What do you mean?
You picked Boston University.
It's like the Ohio State University. It's just the Boston University.
It's the Boston University.
It's Terriers?
Yeah, obviously.
It's a horrible
How could you pick against them?
They're not good.
Yeah, I'll give you my Frozen Four here. I'm taking Michigan because I'm a homer. I'm taking Wisconsin because they're in the Big Ten. I'm also going to take Minnesota because they're in the Big Ten. And I'm going to take BU over BC here in the second round. And I think BU they'll slightly beat Michigan. I hate to say it in the championship game. I'm going to go with BU.
BU?
Yeah.
Roll Terriers. You said Terriers,
straight out
right?
the blue champion is BU. That's 2-1 right there.
Straight out the blue champions, BU. Alright, that'll do it for this episode of Straight Out the Lou. Quick update on our bracket challenge. Luke, this guy's too good at the bracket challenge.
That's right.
He's got the most max points available in the remaining part of the bracket. He also has the most points as of right now. Chris, I think you have the least amount of points available.
You guys are both have
Yeah, it was a tough day for me yesterday.
I think he has the least amount. I'm currently in last place, but do not have the least amount of points available. We're looking for a little bit of a comeback. Hopefully a middle, below middle finish.
I have 1,410 points remaining. Well, C. Sims has 550, and Daz gets dubs, which has not been the case so far. Has 600 points remaining. So
okay.
I've opened up a commanding lead as I usually do. I'm a dynasty. We're going for a 4th year in a row, winning the bracket challenge.
I respect it. I do respect it. I doubted it for a little bit, but now I respect it.
Yep. You never doubt it. You never doubt greatness.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll see you on episode 27.